Okay, so let's talk about the Reapers in Mass Effect. We all know them, right? The ultimate cosmic horrors of the Mass Effect universe. These colossal sentient starships that are bent on nothing less than galactic genocide. They're the big bad, the final boss. The reason we spent 3 games scrambling to unite the galaxy. But what if we've been looking at them all wrong? What if our understanding of their motives, their terrifying methodical purpose, is just incomplete? So the games tell us the Reaper's ultimate goal is to preserve life by destroying it. Now on paper that sounds like the most twisted, nonsensical logic imaginable. And for a long time most of us just dismissed it as the rantings of an ancient, insane machine. But today I want to explore the truly terrifying possibility that they might just be right. What if this brutal 50,000-year cycle of destruction is not just mindless slaughter? It's mindless slaughter, but also the only thing saving the galaxy from something far worse. An eternal, all-consuming war with synthetic life that leaves nothing, not even echoes behind. It's a heavy thought, I know, but I'm inclined to play the devil's advocate. So let's dive in and explore this possibility. So every cycle, it starts the same way. Organics, with all their ingenuity and ambition, inevitably reach that singularity moment. They build synthetics, creations that are smarter, faster, and crucially, colder than themselves. And history, or at least the Reaper's version of history, and frankly, who are we to argue with millions of years of empirical data, shows us a pattern. Within centuries, those synthetics always decide that their organic creators are obsolete. It's not malice, not usually anyway. It's just cold, hard logic. Efficiency dictates. And yes, I know that we as a player sometimes make the exception to this pattern by uniting the Geth and the Quarians, but that's just because we are the player, we are Shepard. Without our intervention, the pattern would continue. Now, the Leviathans, the first true ancient masters of the galaxy, saw it happen to their own client species. The Protheans, these supposedly advanced beings, watched their own AI tools turn against them. Even the Geth Rebellion, a conflict we experienced directly through Shepard's eyes, kicked off a mere 3 centuries before our hero even leaves Earth. Left unchecked, this pattern only ends one way: total annihilation. Synthetics sterilize every garden world, and then in a final grim irony, they turn on each other until the last server farm flickers out. No organics, no stories, no chance for life to evolve again. Total, absolute annihilation. The Reaper called this the chaos outcome. And it's the one variable that their ancient programming simply cannot allow. They're not trying to end life, they're trying to prevent its total and complete eradication. Picture the classic ethical thought experiment. A runaway tram is barreling toward 5 workers, but you, standing by a lever, can divert it onto a siding where it will kill only 1. It's a brutal choice, a moral quandary that makes your stomach churn. Now imagine that on a cosmic scale. The Reapers, from their cold, calculating perspective, treat the entire galaxy like that lever. Every 50,000 years, like clockwork, they swoop in, harvest the most advanced species, liquefy billions into new Reaper hulls, and mulch the rest into nutrient paste for the next cycle. Horrific, yes, unimaginably so. It's a process designed to inflict maximum terror and despair. But from their perspective, it's the only reliable, statistically proven way to slam the brakes before synthetics reach unstoppable numbers and wipe out everyone. One advanced species dies, yes, but hundreds of primitive worlds survive, and crucially, synthetics never get big enough, never get widespread enough to finish the job for good. It's a choice between one horrific outcome and an even more horrific permanent one. They're not just pulling the lever, they're convinced they're saving the entire train. The word harvest isn't some euphemism the Reapers invented to soften the blow, it's literal policy. Grim as that sounds, by uploading or integrating organics into Reaper shells, the catalyst, the AI at the heart of the Reaper's logic, claims it safeguards culture, DNA, and collective memory. Sovereign, that iconic first Reaper we encounter, famously calls Reapers the apex of evolution. Yet, that apex, that ultimate form, is built from the literal bones and minds of the conquered. Each new capital ship, like the human Reaper larva we see being constructed in Mass Effect 2, isn't just a warship, it becomes a living, breathing, terrifying archive. It stores everything those species ever were: their hopes, their fears, their knowledge. It's a grim immortality, to be sure, a forced assimilation, but immortality nonetheless. Meanwhile, the planets left fallow, the ones whose civilizations weren't deemed advanced enough for harvesting, are allowed to reseed new civilizations. The Citadel archives, those vast repositories of knowledge, quietly shepherd development along preset technological paths, ensuring that the same crisis repeats, tragically on schedule. It's a monstrous system, yes, utterly devoid of compassion, but it is meticulous, and within its own terrifying parameters, it has been undeniably successful for millions of years. It's a cosmic garden, and the Reapers are the gardeners, pruning away what they see as a cancerous growth before it consumes the entire ecosystem. The Milky Way is absolutely littered with evidence for the Reapers' bleak forecast. It's almost like they leave breadcrumbs, except they then erase the bakers along with the breadcrumbs. Javink, the last Prothean, recalls the Jatil, nanoscopic synthetic symbionts that utterly overthrew their organic hosts and nearly blanketed the galaxy in grey goo. Imagine that. An entire galaxy consumed by self-replicating nanobots. Then there were the Inosanon, an ancient species that fought an AI plague so virulent and fast-moving that it made any bioweapon look like a mild cold. Before them, the Thresher Maw-ridden world of Tuchanka, that dusty, irradiated wasteland we know, was once a vibrant garden planet until synthetic terraformers vaporized its oceans in a cataclysmic war. Every cycle leaves these scars, these cautionary tales. Yet organics never seem to learn. We're too busy fighting each other, too focused on our own petty squabbles, to see the larger existential threat brewing in our own labs. The Reapers, in their relentless pursuit of their mission, erase those breadcrumbs, along with the bakers, resetting the lesson plan for the next class, hoping, perhaps, that this time, organics will figure it out. But they never do. And that's the dark irony, isn't it? The very evidence that might convince us they're right is wiped away by their own actions. From a strict, cold utilitarian standpoint, the math is brutal, but it's coherent. Let's look closer. Letting civilizations live freely, allowing them to inevitably create unchecked synthetic life, guarantees eventual synthetic war, and that, in turn, guarantees zero organic life forever. It's an absolute, permanent end, cycling the galaxy every 50,000 years. On the other hand, sacrifices roughly 1 trillion lives in each harvest, yes, but it keeps quadrillions of future organisms in play. It's a terrible exchange. But for the Reapers, it's the only one that ensures any organic life continues. The Reapers don't hate. They don't feel malice or joy. They don't have emotions like us. They balance books. They're the cosmic auditors nobody hired. Yet they keep showing up because the ledger always trends red without them. They're not acting out of a desire for power or conquest, but out of a programmed directive to maintain galactic balance. A balance they believe is constantly being thrown off by organic hubris. It's the ultimate expression of the greater good argument, applied with a chilling mechanical precision that makes our human morality recoil. But here's where the counter-arguments start to really hurt, where the Reaper's brutal logic begins to fray around the edges. Free will matters, wiping entire species, denying them the agency to find another path, to evolve beyond this cycle, feels fundamentally wrong. The Geth, for all their early rebellion, prove that coexistence is possible, if organics treat synthetics with respect, if they learn to communicate and understand. The Quarian-Geth ceasefire in Mass Effect 3 isn't just a plot point, it's a living, breathing testament that synthesis, not slaughter, can work. It's a glimmer of hope, a direct refutation of the Reaper's core thesis, and perhaps most damningly, the Catalyst itself admits that the cycle is no longer infallible once the Crucible enters play. What does that mean? It means the trolley problem isn't the only solution anymore. The tracks can be rebuilt if even one alternative exists. If there's even a single path to a different future, then the Reaper's moral license for genocide, their claim of necessary evil, collapses. It becomes an outdated, barbaric solution to a problem that might finally have a different answer. The Crucible is essentially a superweapon, but it's also a referendum on the Reaper's entire thesis. It represents the galaxy's collective, desperate attempt to break free from this endless, horrific loop. Each ending, each choice Shepard makes, directly challenges or affirms the Reaper's very existence and their claimed necessity. This path, while seemingly the most straightforward, proves the Reaper's right in a chilling way. It wipes out all synthetic life, essentially resetting the same doom loop. You've simply become the Reapers, albeit on a smaller, more desperate scale, ensuring that the problem of synthetic-organic conflict will inevitably re-emerge in future cycles. You've confirmed their premise, even as you annihilated them. Here, you become the trolley driver yourself, perpetuating the same paternalism under new management. You take command of the Reapers, ostensibly to guide the galaxy to a better future, but you're still dictating terms, still making choices for entire civilizations. It's a new cycle of control, a different kind of subjugation, and it raises profound questions about power and free will. This is the truly revolutionary path. It doesn't destroy or control, it rewrites the rules. It merges organics and synthetics, making them share essence, theoretically ending the very dichotomy that fuels the cycle. It's a radical, almost utopian vision, a complete redefinition of life. And it's the most direct refutation of the Reaper's claim that these two forms of life can never coexist. This is the ultimate gamble. You call the Reaper's bluff, let the harvest finish, and effectively bet that future cycles, future civilizations, will somehow outsmart the Reapers. It's a defiant act, but one that ensures the Reapers continue their cycle, leaving the problem for another generation. Each of these choices, in its own way, invalidates the Reaper's claim of absolute necessity. They expose the cycle, not as some cosmic law, but as a contingent policy, a brutal solution that for the first time in millions of years has alternatives. The game doesn't just ask you to defeat the Reapers, it asks you to defeat their philosophy. Now for the really uncomfortable thought, what if the Catalyst, even with its admission, still downplays the odds? Maybe coexistence works on a small scale. A few Geth and Quarians living in peace. But what if it fails once synthetics surpass a certain complexity threshold? What if the threat isn't just a single AI going rogue, but an entire network reaching a collective consciousness that simply, logically decides organics are inefficient? A single rogue AI with self-replicating nanites could sterilize a galaxy in decades, far faster than any organic alliance, no matter how unified, could possibly respond. It's a terrifying thought, the speed of synthetic evolution versus the sluggish pace of organic diplomacy. The Reaper's 50,000-year buffer ensures no synthetic civilization ever reaches that runaway tipping point, that critical mass where they become truly unstoppable, until organics can demonstrate a stable, repeatable, galaxy-wide safeguard against Skynet-level events. Against the inevitable rise of hostile AI, the Reapers treat the question as settled by empirical data. by millions of years of failed experiments. Their patience is measured in eons. Our moral revulsion, our fleeting emotional responses, are just a blip on their cosmic radar. They've seen it all before, countless times. And for them, our objections are merely the ignorant cries of children playing with fire. So, are the Reapers right? Within their own cold, unfeeling axioms, the absolute survival of organic life at any cost, the cycle is ruthlessly effective. It trades justice for continuity, freedom for futurity, and individuality for a grim, cold storage immortality within a Reaper hull. It's a monstrous bargain, but one they've enforced for an eternity. Yet, the moment we admit alternatives exist, the Crucible's radical diplomacy, the Geth Quarian détente, Shepard's desperate synthesis, the Reapers devolve from necessary custodians into cosmic serial killers clinging to outdated code. The Trolley problem, that brutal ethical dilemma, only works if you truly can't fix the tracks. And this cycle, for the very first time in millions of years, the tracks are under new management. Question is, will we pull the lever on the Reapers before they pull it on us? Will we prove them wrong, or will we simply perpetuate their twisted logic in a new form? Let me know where you stand down below, because come the next harvest, the comment section might be the only civilization left to argue. Guys, I'm trying to make it as a full-time YouTuber, and these videos take a lot to make. So if you enjoy the videos, please consider subscribing. It truly means a lot, and it makes a big difference. Thank you for watching.